Armello is a great example of what a board game can be in a digital setting. It has massively deep mechanics, lore and gameplay. This can be a boon or a hindrance regarding whether you're playing online or in a local setting. Fantastically elaborated animated cutscenes build the lore of each of the clan's plight to take down the corrupted king and claim the title of monarch for themselves. There's a wonderful introduction to the game and its deep mechanics in the tutorial mode that opens the entire game with animated cutscenes that explore the lore and the motivations of the 4 playable clans in the game. The 4-stage tutorial slowly builds your knowledge of the game's mechanics by introducing a new element every time a new clan is introduced. Movement and combat are told through the introduction of the Wolf clan, cards and perils through the Rat clan, politics through the Rabbit clan, and rot defense and magic through the Bear clan. Once through the tutorial, you'll realize that that's just the tip of the iceberg, and the amount of intricacies required to learn for the mastery of the game will require patience and online practice against other human players. The game can be played with any of the 4 clans, and each has 2 playable characters to choose from. Each character has their own strengths and weaknesses, and choosing the right character for the style of playthrough that you want is a must. Each clan has slightly more chance to win a game playing in one style over another. The Wolf clan's best chance is through combat, gaining extra health and assassinating the dying king before the rot consumes his corrupted soul, therefore assuming the heirship through conquest. The Rabbit's clan's best shot is through politics and having the ear of the king through building up prestige. The prestige leader at the king's untimely rot death will assume control of the kingdom. The Rat clan is by far the more stealthy and employs the use of assassins more freely, and their best chance lies in attaining wealth in the form of gold. The Bear clan uses spirit in form of magic in Armello to channel energy in the fight. So the game plays out on a board that is divided into 2 main areas. The majority of the play field surrounds the king's castle that is centrally located. You'll be playing the game on the same size board every time, so there's an advantage to knowing the style of layout, even if different hazards present themselves at different locations. The king is positioned for the entirety of the game in the centralmost square. Surrounding him are the castle walls, prepped with traps to overcome if an incursion is detected. Guards rotate around him and very often are sent out by him to cause havoc in the world, and all the players challenging his authority. It's not the biggest of game worlds, but it's as big as it needs to be. Everything in this game is meticulously planned. The game board size is perfect to focus the gameplay and allow players and NPCs like the King's Guards and Banes to come into contact with each other on a frequent basis. The majority of the game board then surrounds the central castle and is comprised of hexagonal squares to navigate through, one at a time. Using action points, you can move up to 3 squares in a turn, more if you use card buffs to temporarily enhance your action points, or less if you traverse terrain that impedes your progress like mountains. They require 2 AP, for example, for a single move, but will provide better defense to your stats. The board will comprise of forests that can be utilized for nightly stealth, mountains for defense, towns that can be swayed to your cause and provide much needed gold after a full day cycle, dungeons with random chance dictating what you can collect from them, whether it be cards, gold or other luxuries. Swamps drain your health and stone circles heal. The whole map is randomly generated at the start of each new game and provides a very different experience every time with changing seasons and changing perils. The game's day-night cycle oscillates between the 2 and allows characters their turn every day, twice a day, once in the daytime and once at night. Completing a full day-night cycle points you toward the king, and his ailing health gets reduced by another heart. With the king starting at 9 hearts, it takes 9 full days or 18 turns for a full game to play out, unless somebody murders him sooner, and in real terms, that means anywhere between 45 minutes and 1.5 hours to complete a full game. That's no problem in a single player session, as the game allows you to save at any time of your choosing. However, in an online multiplayer session, choose your time carefully to start, as quitting out means never finishing the game that was started. How about when playing with others in a local setting on a single Switch, I hear you ask? Well, you may well ask, because I in particular was looking forward to sinking some time into Armello with my family. However, due to the nature of the game, with a total reliance on keeping your stealthy move secret, your card deck secret, and your inventory secret, such as weapons and defense, it comes as no big surprise, a little saddening, but no surprise, that to find out that local play is not implemented in the game. If you're looking for some human-on-human action, then you'll need multiple switches and multiple downloads, or go online with friends and/or randoms. There are options to set up private matches or just jump into a random game of your choice. However, it's near impossible to jump into an online game with randoms, as 4 players are needed to start, and the maximum number of players I have ever found online at any one time is 3, with a lot of waiting. Movement is deliberate, and lots of thought has to go into how you're going to approach every situation. Fighting your way through every encounter can gain a prestige point for every successful encounter. However, these are risky endeavours played at with a game of dice. Losing may result in death and a loss of prestige. Rolling the allocated number of dice for your character, you must get swords for attack and shields for defence. Your opponent does the same, and attack commences, balancing your attack power to their defence and vice versa. A winner is then chosen. Cards in the game can gain you additional dice or remove dice from your opponent's inventory. Cards like weapons and shields add bonus dice of that class before you even throw, and even burning cards of the correct type pre-roll can add to better survival outcomes. Dying in itself is not such a bad thing. You'll merely respawn at the beginning of every turn at your clan's starting point, which is always one of the furthermost northeast, south or west points on the game board, minus 1 prestige, and back with a full lovely health boost. Armello has many other notable game systems. For example, rot that corrupts you slowly, but played right can aid your quest to become the dictator of Armello. You lose 1 health at every dawn, and having higher rot than other rot-filled creatures will give you bonus dice in combat. If your rot finally reaches to level 5, you'll be fully corrupted and the evil banes will no longer attack you, and you'll receive 1 health for every death you dish out to everybody else. Magic is done through the card system and uses consumable spirit to power them. There are just too many game systems to mention, but with poisoning and mercenary groups to bribe, king's decrees to influence, trickery cards, trap cards, magic cards, inventory cards, and perils to place, avoid, or spring, Armello offers a deep board game experience. In talking about this game, it's impossible to discuss everything it can throw at you. Such are its huge systems and mechanics to learn, the sheer amount of variety of styles to attack, defend, politically maneuver, etc. The game could be played numerous times, and you would still learn new things and receive new cards and situations for a long time to come. The music in the game is a perfect mix of fantasy orchestrated work. It really goes to show the level of commitment and depth that the developers have for this game. This is also shown in the commitment to pushing the game further by releasing DLC in order to provide more of everything, which can be bought standalone or as part of a game bundle. Some minor niggles of the frame rate pop up, and they are few and far between. There are a few frame rate stutters that become evident when the time of day changes, and during some of the more elaborate character animations during gameplay, mostly pertaining to the king as he falls to the floor in agony of the coming night and the building rot in his body. However, the nature of the game board turn-based gameplay makes this less off-putting than in a platformer, for example. It has been mentioned that a patch would be available for Armello soon after launch. That has not yet materialized, and therefore the much vaunted inclusion of touchscreen support is not present as of yet. Playing in handheld, touchscreen was sorely missed, but to know that the game will be getting the addition of that function sooner or later is another added bonus. The other issue the developers wished to address through that patch was the rather lengthy loading screens, and as the game currently stands, they do hold a rather hefty position. Here's hoping they live up to their promises and sort these issues out. Armello is not a game that's easy to pick up and play for the casual gamer. There's a lot to take in, and even the tutorial can take a full hour to plow through. Then after that, your quest has only just begun. Armello is a game that favours those who already savour board games of this ilk, a deep fantasy-based tactical action card dice game, with layers of depth that enable each and every playthrough to offer a different experience. playing with friends online is the absolute most noteworthy or prized feature. If you have likewise minded friends and switches between you, then this is an absolute must. Armello offers an incredibly deep board game experience. The lore, gameplay, mechanics on offer will have you coming back for more long after you've got to grips with what's on offer. However, the lack of local multiplayer and the lack of a large online scene means either being confined to single-player games, or if you're lucky, getting together likewise minded friends for added longevity.